So, welcome to class. There are a lot of things going on in the world. There are so many things that are meant to confuse you, meant to make you feel hopeless and scared, and all the things. And I want to remind us that we have to and get focused because this is why education is so important. And I have taught the class that you all are about to get a free preview of multiple times at other universities. And I am also going to be offering this as a course for health and wellness practitioners alike. The other thing is, if you are feeling very overwhelmed right now, if you go to my bio, you will see there is an opportunity to add yourself to my email list so that you can get a little bit more in terms of a deep dive, and I'll start sending that out on Monday. But this content is deep, it is heavy, it is not something that will make you go, oh, okay, like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Because what I have found teaching and being in these spaces is when you are not the person that is center in the conversation, it is very difficult. As we have all seen, there is plenty of literature that talks about the importance of diversity, the importance of representation, but yet here we are. So right now I want to give you just a preview of some things that I need you to consider. So this is my grandmother's hands. For me, just as a tip, when you are thinking about going through and reading information and processing it, I personally listen to my books, and I also, depending on how much I like them, I'll get a hard copy because, as you can see, we gotta take notes, honey. We gotta take notes. We be writing all in the margins, writing all the. I gotta take notes, okay? Because for me, and from a neuroscience perspective, when you write down things, it helps to solidify things in terms of your memory. So I need you to understand the importance of, even if you're writing down an outline of concepts, of things, even that we're going to cover in this course, I need you to do that because this is for you. This is for you. Now, I really, really love this book because it gives you so much in terms of giving you a preview of historical aspects. Of course, you'll be able to go back and really learn a lot more about these things. But I want to read just a quick excerpt from this book, and it's going to sound familiar. So, our bodies, our country. As I write these words in early 2017, America is tearing itself apart. On the surface, this war looks like the natural outcome of many recent social and political clashes, but it is not. These conflicts are anything but recent. 156 years ago, they spawned the American Civil War. But even in the 1860s, these conflicts were already centuries old. They began in Europe during the Middle Ages, where they tore apart close to 2 million white bodies. The resulting tension came to America embedded in the bodies of Europeans, and it has remained in the bodies of many of their descendants. So I'm going to jump down a little bit. While we see anger and violence in the streets of our country, the real battlefield is inside our bodies. If we are to survive as a country, it is inside our bodies where this conflict will need to be resolved. Skipping down a little bit. Our character is being challenged, and the content of the character is being revealed. So, what I want us to understand when we talk a lot about trauma, when we talk about colonialism, imperialism, and all of the various aspects of the things that honestly and unfortunately have shaped our country, we have to learn how to transmute the trauma that many people that have come before us have experienced. If not, that trauma will mutate. Okay? So Resma continues and says, the other possibility is that white body supremacy will continue to be reinforced as the dominant structure form of energy in American culture In much the same way, Aryan supremacy dominated German culture in the 1930s and early 1940s. If Americans choose the latter scenario, the racialized trauma that wounds so many American bodies will continue to mutate into insanity and create even more brutality and genocide. Doesn't that sound familiar? And this is why you have seen many Black and brown voices on this app since 2020 saying we have to dismantle whiteness and white supremacy, otherwise it will keep happening. And this is why even right now, post-election, you are seeing people, especially Black people, saying we are resting. We have told you these things before, because history continues to repeat itself. And as I mentioned, unless we choose to transmute and do something about the traumas that have existed within our bodies many, many times over and over and over throughout history, if we don't do something about that, it will continue to mutate. Just as viruses mutate, just as diseases mutate, just as all of the things that we see in current media news, insert all the things, we're not going to resolve these things. And that is why you are seeing so many Black people especially say this is not our problem to solve. And I'm going to close there with that book, but I highly encourage you to read this first, because this will give you that, like, this is easy to digest. It is an easy read. It might not necessarily be easy from I feel this in my body perspective and I'm going to react to it, because you will, especially if you are a non-melanated person. However, I am urging you to just sit down and take some time to really and truly soak in what you are about to review and experience, because somatically you are going to have big feelings to this book. And the other thing that I'm going to say right out the gate, if you are not Black or a melanated person, nobody is blaming you for what you were born into. However, it is your responsibility to learn and educate yourself regarding these things, because we are not going to use my comment section, especially because I would block you. But I want you to step outside of yourself. If you are really and truly interested in being a co-conspirator, I ain't talking about allyship, nothing no more, okay? If you are really and truly trying to be a co-conspirator, I need you to settle in and I need you to feel the feelings. Because these are the feelings and experiences that other people that have nothing to do with you, that came way before you, chose not to experience. So when you're scrolling TikTok and you're even seeing a lot of somatic therapists and therapists talking about the importance of feeling, that is why these things are so important. And as someone who has stepped into that ability and that space to be able to experience those feelings, let me tell you, it's a lot. Yeah. And every time I have gone through the process of reviewing curriculum for a course or of any sort that I am teaching, these feelings come up immensely. We will talk about some other books and some optional reading for you. However, make sure that you are amplifying Black voices. That is my lived experience that I am speaking from. And there are plenty of people on this app that have provided those resources for years. And I want to acknowledge the work that they have done as well.